Hello there, congratulations for purchasing this course and taking the very first step that is required to help you understand how to build mobile applications with FlutterFlow without writing codes. So I'm actually super excited to be your teacher. Yeah. So I believe that you already know that I am a FlutterFlow ambassador, and I am, you know, so passionate about transferring the knowledge of how to build mobile and web applications without writing codes straight to you. This particular course that you have purchased is going to help you to understand how to build a grocery shopping application with FlutterFlow without writing codes. It's going to be something like super exciting, and if I told you've already checked out some of my tutorials on YouTube, you will see that I have always very detailed when I'm explaining how things work within FlutterFlow. All right, so you don't have to worry yourself at all. You're going to understand every single thing that I will teach you here in this course, because I will say it, I will say it again, I will keep repeating it until it sticks into your memory. So it's really good to have you here in this course, and let's get started. So this is the application that we're going to be building, right? So full credit goes to the um, the product designer who worked on this. In the description of this course, you're going to get to see the details of the product designer. You will see the link to access this particular file, and then begin to also replicate it to build the application just the way I'm doing it. Okay, so I believe you're already excited, because I am like super excited myself, and we're going to kickstart like right now. So this is Figma. If I told you are new to all of these things, this particular application that I am using right now is called Figma. So Figma allows you to make designs like product designs, UI/UX designs for applications, for mobile applications or for web application. In this case, it is a mobile application. All right. And this was already done by someone else, like I already said. And all we're going to just do is we're going to use it to build the application inside FlutterFlow. Why do we need this? Now, before you even get to build an application, you need to have an idea of how the application looks like. All right. That's why you need a product design. You need a UI/UX design. UI/UX stands for user interface and user experience designs. Okay. So now this is what we have, and the very first thing that you need to do, we will be doing it in different times. Occasionally we're going to turn on the developer mode, just so that we can actually be able to see the dimension to different things that are in our different components that are in our UI/UX design. Okay. All right, so here at this point, we're going to just quickly start with this very first screen. So this is more like our onboarding screen, and also like the splash screen. Okay, so we're going to start right now. First of all, we just have to click on the main design itself, this very first one here, right? And then we get to check out the dimension. So if you can see here, it's 375 by 812. Okay, so what we're going to do now is that we're going to just go ahead and head to FlutterFlow. This is FlutterFlow. We will be using FlutterFlow to work on this application. If you don't have an account, just click start for free. If you have an account, click on sign in, and then you will be brought to where you see your projects. These are all my projects. So we're just going to go ahead and then click on create new, and then I will call my application grocery. I'll just call it what it is, right? Grocery shopping app. Okay, now this particular application will teach you how to do a whole lot of things, right? So you're going to learn front-end, back-end, customization, even using custom codes, lots of things. You're going to learn them in the course of these training. Okay, so so this is it. After you clicked create project, this is what you get, and then you can either skip or click on next. So this is the point where you set up your Firebase. All right, so Firebase is where you can actually get to store different details of your application, like for instance the images, the videos, you know, the data that your user creates by interacting with your application, right? Whenever they make a purchase on the application, they have created some form of data. It's called a document. All right, so all of this is actually stored inside Firebase. We're going to explore all of these much later, but at this point, what I just want us to just go ahead and do is we're going to skip this particular step for now, and then we will continue it in the next step, in the future steps. Okay, great. So I'll just skip it for now, and then when you skip it, right, this is what you see. This is the dashboard for FlutterFlow. All right, so you get to see a whole lot of things. This is where you see, when you click on this, you see the different dimensions of the mobile view. All right, so you can change it to 428, you can change it to 430, right? So this is it. I will just close this, and then you can also check for iPad view, this iPad view. And if at all you're building a website, you have to go for the desktop view. Does that make sense? I believe it does make sense. So let's go ahead and then continue our application. So in this situation, we're building a mobile application, all right? And it's 375 by 812. How did I know that? So I had clicked on this, and then I saw 375 by 812. This is how we start this movement, okay? Let's go. Now we have these, and this is like the basic page. So I'm going to come here to the widget tree. This is where you click to access the widget tree. In the widget tree, you see the pages and you see the widget itself. So when you click on the page, you see the widget tree of that page. If we had like a lot of pages here, when you click on each of those pages, the widget tree will also change depending on the content. Okay, great. So what we need to do right now is we're just going to go ahead and then push this to the next level. How do we do that? So here I'm going to change this particular page name to what we have here. So it's called onboarding, right? So we have like 2 onboarding screens. Well, basically there are 3, but what we have here is just 2. So because we have like 3 of the slides here, but this is just 2. So we will just go ahead and then make it 3. Okay. So but it doesn't mean that this is going to be like 3 different pages. It's just going to be 1 page with things changing, right? Okay, I think I understand what is going on here. This is a particular type of onboarding page, and then there's another one. So you can either choose to use these or you choose this. This one has this all bluish, you know, scenario here. I think I like it. I like the whole bluish scenario here, and compared to these. So I think I will go with this one. All right. So this is the screen we're going to use for our onboarding. And how do we go ahead to start with that? Now we're going to go ahead and then just look at a couple of things. First of all, this is our screen. So let's just change the name of the page from home page to onboarding. All right. So I will come over here and then click on these and then change it to onboarding. Okay. I like to name my pages correctly, because it's going to help you take off a lot of problems in the nearest future. Okay, so here I'm going to click on the app bar. This is the app bar, is already selected. I will delete it. Okay, so now we just have the scaffold itself. When you tap on the scaffold, you see the column inside here. So let's go ahead and start building something remarkable. All right, so now we have this, and let's start building our application. The outermost part of this screen is made up of a blue color. How do we go ahead and set that up first? Now what we need to do is, we're already in a developer mode, and if we click on this to open it, you see lots of other colors. All right, so this is the color that we're looking for. So I'll just tap on it and it gives me the color. So I will go ahead and come over here inside this column. I'm going to go ahead and then there are 2 things I could do. I can wrap this column with a container that will end up having the color blue. All right, so which is a better way of doing it. So I'll just right click on this and wrap the widget with a container. Okay, and then I will just go ahead and then paste the color of the the container here, and that's it. So I just pasted it here. Okay, and then now it's just in a small corner, but I want it to fill the entire screen. So what I need to do is I'll say the width is infinite. I'll click on this. Great. And then I'll say the height is also infinite. That's it. So now we have the screen, and all we just need to do right now is just push things to the next level. Beautiful. So now this is our column. All right. So why do we have a column there? The reason, well, the column came with the page, all right, but we need to understand why it's there. So we can actually go ahead and delete it. Like we can go ahead and delete this now. I've just deleted it. So let's just say there's no column, so I've deleted it now. But how do we know when to use the column? So here, the column will be used in this situation because things are being stacked from top to bottom, right? So column is more like straight from top to bottom, while row is from, left to right or right to left, but right horizontally. Column is vertical. So here we have a huge vertical arrangement of different widgets. Okay, so now we're going to make sure that we have a column such that when we add things, they can be stacked on top of, under themselves like that. Okay, so the new thing will go under, the newest one will go under like that until we get what we want. Beautiful. Okay, so now we have this. I'm just gonna go ahead and click on add a child to this widget, this icon here, and then I'll add the column here. And then inside here, I need to go ahead and do something really quick. Now look at this. This particular information, right? This particular information is going to be changing when the user swipes. This is a carousel kind of, right? So when the user swipes from, let's say, from right to left, this information is supposed to be changing. And so for us to achieve that, we're going to tweak certain things. So let's look for a particular widget called page view. And then I just clicked and added it. All right, so that's page view. There's some things that are here, but it's not so obvious yet. So let's go ahead and then get something. So like this one here, we need to get the color there. So I'll just click on this to tap the color. Great. Then I'll come back to here, and I'm already selecting my page view. Okay, so I will come over here, just scroll down. I'll see the primary color, the active color of my page view, which is what I will use in creating the swipe. It's just a widget inside FlutterFlow you can be using in creating those swipes. Okay, so I will just paste the color I just copied, and now this is it, gives me the white. And now that's for the active color. Then we have the inactive colors. Yeah, okay, so the inactive colors, let me zoom in. Let's see how we can get the inactive colors. Okay, so this is not highlighting. Okay, so I will just turn off this developer mode. Okay, and then try to assess this. Okay, so this is actually grouped. So I will just go ahead and check here. This is the first line, second line, something like that. So I'll just go ahead and get the color of this particular line. So I clicked on this, and I'm not actually seeing the color I should use. It's showing me this one. So I think I would just go ahead and copy it and then just paste it inside here. If it gives me the color that I want, then that's it. Okay, it does give me, but it's not the perfect color that I want. So let's see if we can get like the perfect color here. Okay, so this is the lines, but we're not having the exact color that we want. Okay, so what we're going to do in this situation, okay, there's one more color, and this is it. It's the same thing actually. So I think what is happening here is, let's click on this. All right, I just clicked on that box there, and then I'm just going to reduce this. This is more like opacity, right? So I'll just reduce it and then click on this. So it's somehow changing. So I need to take it even further down so that I can get something similar to what I have there. Okay, so this is it. All right, so we have something here. So it's actually the same color. It's just that the opacity is being reduced. Okay, all right, so now we have something like this. We're still far from achieving these design. Okay, so we're still far from that, but we will get there. So here we will just go ahead and then copy this particular information, and then push it up here. So let's see how this whole page view works. So the page view has like the original number of screens that it has is basically 3, but if you have things in the database, it can always increase the number of these flow. Okay, so now this is the main page view, the page view page, right? It has an image. It's basically another page, like a container or something. So we can just go ahead and delete it, delete the page, the image that was there. And then now we want to go ahead and add a column. All right, so I'm treating it as a container. Okay, I'm treating it as a container. So in a container, I'm adding a column here. And then the next thing I need to go ahead and do is I'm going to add a row. Okay, so inside that row, I'm going to add a text. Beautiful. Now, why did I do that? Because I want to put this, your holiday shopping delivered to your home. I want to put this information there. So I'll just go ahead and then copy this. Okay, and then I will go ahead and then check out the dimension of the fonts. So it's 700 and it's a 38 pixel. So I'll just go ahead and come over here and paste the text I just copied, and then come over here to font weight and change it to 700, and then change the font size to 38. Come back over here and copy the color code, and then return to FlutterFlow, and then paste it in the primary text color. Okay, then now it's all over like this. We need to go ahead and look at the padding on the side. So the padding on the side is 42, on top is 33, and 39 on the other side. So I think what I would just do is come back here and say 42. All right, so 42, I think this is 39, and this is 33, right? So it's not giving us what we want. It's not giving us on the right because we have to change the expansion here to this one. So we change that, and then it flows down like this. Great. Then I think we also need to do some things. So we have a font family here called Manrobe. Let's see if that's a Google font. So we'll go to theme settings, and then we'll go to typography and icons. Then we'll click on the primary font family and say Manrobe. So here we have the font already. So I'll just click on to select it. So this primary font is Manrobe. The secondary, I will just also use Manrobe. Okay, great. So now we will go back to the widget tree, and then we have this. Okay, so that means every font that we're using here is Manrobe font family. Okay, now we will need to go ahead and then do some other settings, right? So let's see what we can do here. Now there are some things that you can also adjust here. We have like the line height. All right, the line height is it says 38 pixels, but in FlutterFlow it doesn't work like that. We're going to be using these percentage here. So it says 126.67, so we can just approximate it. All right, so here the line height can just be maybe 1.3. all right, so 1.3. okay, so that's how it works. If you put the whole 126 here, we don't get it right. Okay, so we just need to say 1.3 approximately. Okay, great. Then what we need to do quickly is what else do? We need to put this particular image. Okay, so this image, I'm going to go ahead and then click on export. I'm going to try to export the highest, not like the highest, some high resolution of the image. So I'll just export it, and then it comes as like this. So now there are some few things that I can do here, right? So we can go ahead and then use another widget that will allow us to have this particular image in our design like this, right? So that's where we bring in something called stack. Okay, so I will just go ahead and right click on this and say wrap the row. This is the row. I want to wrap this row with another widget called stack. Now with the widget called stack, I can go ahead and add an image, right? So I can add an image, and then with that image, this is the dimension of the image set 33.5. by 32.9. So let's just say 34 by 33. Okay, so it's 34 by 33. All right, so I will remove the border radius. So border radius removed. And then I'll switch from network to assets so that I can actually be able to upload the image from my computer. Okay, so I'll click on here to get the image. And then here, I have my image. So this is where I have my image, and I will just go ahead and then upload these information. Okay, so upload it here. And then what we're going to do next quickly is we're going to just go ahead and find a way to position this image somewhere around here. How do we do that? So here we will click on this and then check out the position of, I had to hold down Alt key on my system if you're using Windows. Okay, so I think it should be like it should work the same way with Mac. Okay, but I think you're going to just have to find the icon for your Mac. Okay, so for me, I'm using Alt. I don't mean icon, I mean you're going to have to find your own key, right? So I'm using Alt right now. So when I click on Alt, it allows me to see the dimensions around it. But if at all you are in developer mode, you don't necessarily need to do that. Okay, so you just have to hover around and then you see stuff. So here, this image is 135 pixels from the left and 174 from the top. So 135 from the left and 174 from the top. 174. Now we're going to get some incorrect arrangement somehow, because first of all, some things are not the same way inside like Figma at some point can give you some incorrect dimensions, also depending on how the product designer worked on it. So we're just going to manipulate it a little bit just to get something around this. So here I'm going to click on this. All right, I'm going to click on this and then give it something lesser than 39, maybe 19. Okay, yeah, so maybe 19, maybe 21. Okay, so now this is it. It gives me this kind of, you know, arrangement. So here it's actually 135 and here 181, 174, but yet still I don't have these properly positioned, so I just need to go ahead and still do some arrangement, some adjustment. So I'll say 145 here. Not still working. I'll change this to 155, maybe that. Then I'll change this to 194. Too much, so 187. Okay, great. So I now have it like this. This is my image and it's all arranged properly now. Okay, great. So we have this now, and I know we have some space above here, right? We have 33. Okay, we already did that. And then although it still looks like it has a lot of space around, it's because we have some inside spacing here, like from here to here, that has not been accounted for because of how the product designer did it, but we're going to use it the way it is. Okay, but at least you capture the gist. Great. So now what we need to do here is quickly, we're going to go ahead and then set up this particular detail. So I'm just going to copy it immediately. It's okay, let's not be in a hurry. I'll click on the column, click on this, and click on a row to put it up, and then I will say add a text inside that, and then I will just go ahead and paste this here. Come back to Figma and see 500 by 18 is the font size, and copy the color code. So I would just go ahead and say 500 by 18. So this is 18. Come here and say 500 and paste the color code here. And then that's it. So I will go ahead and then do the same thing like I did before. The spacing on the left is 42. So I will say, give it a padding here. So 42. And then there's going to be some padding on the right as well, 61. So we will just say 61. Okay. And then for that to really show, we have to click on this expansion type. Okay, And then we will need to see there's some spacing here, but right now FlutterFlow Figma is not showing us any particular spacing. So if you do it like this, we can say 29. Great. So we can go ahead and click on the row itself and say 29. All right. So now we have things a little bit arranged the way we wanted. Now we have some issues, which is these, and then this, not like issues, we will just change that. Let's go ahead and then put up this image, right? So this image is going to be outside the page view. It's not going to be in the page view. Okay, so let's even this image and this button here. Okay, so and then for this button, let's see, there are several ways we can work on this button. We can use a container, yeah, because I need this arrow to be like this. Okay, so I think yeah, so let's go ahead and then come over here and then click on our page view, right? And then we need to push this thing upward. Okay, we need to push it upward. How do we do that? The height here is already saying 500. This is the page view itself. Look at what I highlighted, I selected. So now the page view, and then the indicator alignment, we need to push it to I think it's at the center. Okay, it's still at the left hand side. Okay, fine. So we need to give it some space on the left here. So it's gonna be 42 as well. So I think the padding here is gonna be 42. Great, so we have done that padding. And then now we need to go ahead and then do some other things. All right, so we need to go ahead and say the height, let's change this. If we change this to 300, does anything change? No, it doesn't. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to click on here. All right, so it brings the indicator around here. You see what I did there? It brings the indicator around here, but this is telling the indicator, oh, I want you at the center, but that's not the case. We want it here on the left hand side, but carrying the same distance, the same space of the padding. Okay, then I think this is fine. It gives us a reasonable amount of space. And so here at this point, the next thing we need to do quickly is I think I can click on this. No, let's just leave it like that. So I want to go ahead and then these details down is perfect, right? So I'll just click on it and copy it, all right, and go to the next page, you know, page view page, right? So I'll just delete the other image and paste this information there. Great. You see, now it's a different, like, it shows that this is the middle you know, carousel swipe. Okay, then here I'll come over here. Let me just close this. I just clicked on it to close it. I'm gonna delete this one, and then I will just paste it. So what happened there is that in the very first page here, I clicked on the column and I did Ctrl+C and I copied it, and then I went to page view, the second one, and then I pasted it here, Ctrl+V. Then I went to the third one and I pasted it, Ctrl+V. That's how I did that. So now I have to go back to the page view and just close it, click on this column, and now what I want to do is I need to add an image. Okay, so I'm clicking here to add an image, and this is where my image is. Okay, what image is that? This is going to be the image. Okay, so I'll go ahead and then click on export, and just say maybe 3x. Then okay, so with what is happening right now, I had to check the preview and I see there's nothing here. So I'll turn off the developer mode, and I will try to see how I can get this exact image. So right now I'm not getting the image that I want. It's not giving me what I need actually. Okay, so I think I'm gonna come over here to the one that says group, and I click on export, and I'm trying to preview here. Okay, something is showing now, right? So something is showing now. So let me see, when I clicked on this, something wasn't showing, but when I click on this, something is showing. So it's the size of the image is 107.5 by 107.5. Okay, so I will come over here and say 107.5. I'll just copy that and then paste it here. That's it. I'll take off this border radius, and then I'll switch from network to assets, and then I will click. Okay, I haven't downloaded it. I have to go back and change these to maybe 3x, and then click on export group, and group has been exported. I come back to FlutterFlow, click on this, and then bring up my image. Okay, great. So like this, we have our image properly brought in for us. What we need to do quickly is we need to just go ahead and do some basic things. Okay, so here in the column, right, we have this problem, right? So this is where we have our image, but it's supposed to be up here, but it is not. All right, it's up here, but it is not. So it's not giving us exactly how we want this thing to be. Okay, so now we need to be able to bring this up a bit. So let me click on the page view, and then I will go to column, and then tweak some things to get everything working out properly. Okay, so this is the column alignment. Is not gonna be like that. What I need is I need these particular, okay, I think I'm gonna do it like this. Let's adjust the page view itself, right? So let's go to adjust the page view. If we click on this, it's going to allow us to use the expansion scenario, right? And then we can stay here at this point. Let's see if it gives us something that we want. Okay, so I think this is not bad. All right, so we have this, and we can go ahead and reduce the height here and say maybe 400. Okay, so 400, maybe 350, and this somehow gets very close to this. Okay, so I think we need to leave it at 400. Okay, so now this is it. We have this, but now we have a problem. Okay, the problem is that our indicator here is not positioned where it's supposed to be positioned. So we need to go ahead and then push the indicator a bit downwards. Okay, so let's try, say 16, let's say 24. Okay, so this is gonna go down as far as this, right? Yeah, it's gonna go down as far as this point, because look at it, it's supposed to be here, right? So we need to go ahead and say maybe this should be 100. Okay, now that's not working at all. So I think we're just going to adjust this. I need you to see how some errors are being tweaked, okay, when you're working in your application. So I will just go back to page view, and then okay, I'm already here in page view. So let's change this to 500. Now this is where it is. Okay, so I think this is where we want it to be. All right, and so let's leave this at 400. Okay, great. So we're good now. All right, so I will go ahead and then maybe wrap these in a row. So I just right clicked and then say wrap these in a row, and then I will center align this by clicking on this, then click on the row. Okay, it's already clicked. I need to go ahead and give it some spacing. So I'm holding down Alt key to see the distance, 127.8 approximately. So I can just say 127. Okay, 0.8. Nice. Then we have this. Okay, so let me see if we have a similar problem with the next screens. No, we don't. Okay, everything is fine. So we will go back to our image. All right, and then I'll just close this, close the page view, click on the column, and I need to add my button. Right, so this is the button I want to go ahead and add now. And then this button, I will turn on my developer mode so I can just copy the color. It's just white. The dimension of the button is 253 by 70. Okay, so you can see 253 by 70. It has a border radius of 20. So I'll click on add a child to widgets. I will say container. Now the reason is I can use a button, right? I can use a button here, but my button allows me to have an icon. But the icon, let's say arrow icon. Let's say we use something like this. Where is it? Maybe this one. Okay, so it's only from the trailing pad. It doesn't give me the icon in front, right? Sorry, yeah, at the beginning. It's giving me the icon at the beginning, right? So I want the icon at the end, just like what we have here. So that's not going to work out for me. So I will just go ahead and delete it. And then I will click to use a container to build it. So here I have a container. I will say 273 by 70. Did I get that right? So let's come back here. 253 by 70. So 253 by 70. I'll just paste the color. 253 by 70. It has a border radius of 20. I'm going to go ahead and wrap these in a row, all right, and then center align it. Great. And then I'll go ahead and then maybe push this downwards a bit. I'll say 118. That's a lot, I think. So let's say 118. Okay, so we have used some inconsistent padding or dimensions in the past, and so that's why this is not really giving us the accurate thing. So I will just go ahead and then alter this. Instead of this, I can just say 58. Yeah, it says 58, and then I will go ahead and then copy this, get started, and then inside this container now I'm gonna add a row. So inside the row I'm gonna add a text, and the text is what I copied, and I will go ahead and then look at the color of the text. I'll just copy it. The dimension is 600 by 16. So I'll come over here, change this to 16, come over here and say 600, and then the color of the text I pasted. Now I did add it in a row because I needed to add something called add the icon, right? So here in this case I'm taking the icon as an image, all right? So I'll just click on this, scroll down, export, maybe say 3x, and then I can preview just to see how it looks like. So I can export it there. Then first of all I need to know the dimension. So it's roughly let me see up here. So it says 19. It doesn't really give me the height of the icon. That's sad. Okay, it's saying 0. So I think it's not calculating properly there. So we will use something here. So we just know that the width is 19. The height, let's say 19 as well. Okay, the height, no, let's look at this. So this is the width 19, the height, maybe not up to 19, but let's leave it at 19. And then we can just remove the border radius. Change from network to asset, and click on this to get the icon. And we'll just wait for a couple of seconds, and that's it. So I had to click on these to say box fit, and then now I will click on row and say spread them aside. Great, this is the alignment I'm using, and we'll look at their distances apart. So it's 50 on this side, and this one is 48. Okay, so I will just say I'll click on this and give it a padding on the left, 48. And then this one I'll give it 50. So this is it, and we are good. So here we have our design. And that's all about it. We have created the onboarding screen. We can just go ahead and click on this icon now to just preview our screen and see what we have created. So while waiting for this to happen, this is basically the first part of our UI, and then in this application we're just going to be building the UI first, and then when we're done with building all of the UIs, we'll just go ahead and then build the backend, like integrate the backend to it, set up our Firebase, right, and then even add some details for receiving payment. Okay, so I believe that you have learned a whole lot from these, and then let's take a look at how it looks like for real. Okay, so this is it, and then we can just do like this. You see, this is what I was talking about. Okay, So let's go ahead and just make this a bit longer. Okay, so maybe something like this. So when we reach at some point, we will start working on mobile responsiveness. Okay, so but this is what we have achieved so far. Okay, all right, we'll continue in the next video.